So what we're gonna be doing in here is basically gonna open up here, and for each item we're gonna be do the interaction you guys want to do it. For now, I'm gonna change this to item interactor. That's fine. I just wanna actually call this. I'm just gonna change this name to be something more for example, add item to inventory or something like this, right? So we know what it actually does. Cool, nice. So this is the reference of the item, and we're just removing the actor right after we adding that to our player. Cool. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get a reference of this item here. Let me show you what I mean. This is the item reference. So if I browse to asset, right now we have the reference of the item here. So if I open up in Flow Blueprint, what we need right now is to get this. We need to get a reference, the role name, the inventory ID. So how we do this? Right, so what we're gonna do here, let's put this on the side. We're gonna get inventory row ID, right? And this returns the data table. So we can actually right click and split the structure, or you can just come in here and just break yourself. Yeah, so that returns the role name, returns a couple of things, and well, here we go. Right, nice. So this, I'm just gonna break this for now, split the structure. And what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna call get table row, yeah, here, and the row ID is that, right? So let me see if this is actually working. Let's see if it's founding or not. So we're gonna be hello, yes, has found, and here is gonna be, I think it's just get table row. Yeah, let me just do this in a better way. It needs to be inventory ID item list. There we go. Because otherwise you're not going to be able to break these and get the item, do stuff. Yeah, so just go ahead in here and make sure you select your DT inventory item list instead of doing that. Otherwise that will throw a couple of errors after. Right, so yeah, what I'm gonna do here is just print if it has found or not. Has not found. So if I press play, that should say yes, has found. There we go, cool. So that's all we need. So right now the player has access to the item. So we just need to pass it through to the inventory so we can display that to the player. Right, how we do this? That's a very nice thing to do. Let's do that in an easy way. So let me just recap what we did here. So what we're doing now, yeah, remember, let me go back here, browse to asset. Let's go from scratch, from the start. Save this, right. So the wood item here, the base, yeah, don't worry about the wood item. You guys don't need to do this. I just want to explain you what's happening. Because the player is in range, we are adding the reference of the inventory back to the BPC player in here. So we're adding those references in there. As the player goes inside the range and leave the range of this item, we add or remove depending on the behavior we want. And because when the player here, let me just show here the player main components, sorry, what is it? Player character here. Because the player is pressing E to do the interaction and is in the range of this, because those items are added to the inventory here, we can now call this method that we call in here. If you notice, we're calling this interaction that call this add item to inventory, or you could call interact with item, doesn't matter. Right now it's just adding the item to the inventory, and because at that moment we have access to those items, we're just doing a for each, and we got access to the table row name, which is coming from this drop down here. So because you have access to the drop down, where is it? I got lost here. We can actually now select the item from the table, and we can do stuff with it. Right. What we're gonna do now is, let me go ahead in here and close everything. If you guys start to have too many things open, just close everything, start from scratch. It's always easy to follow that way. Right, so right now I am on the BPC inventory. Right, remember, if I go back here to the BPC blueprint, sorry, UI, the main inventory, now I need access to the widget. Remember that we have just created this add item to log. Go back in here to the BPC inventory, to the method add item to the inventory. Do this. So now what we're doing here, we just select the item in the data table. Yeah. Right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the widget reference. Remember, the widget reference is this. Yeah. So we got the reference to the widget, which is that thing here. And then what we're doing now is just gonna go back here. We're gonna call that method add item to log. There you go. So we're gonna call add item to log. And what we're doing here is we're adding the item here, and I suppose we have access to the quantity. Get quantity item is that. Let me see if I call that different. House to asset. I'm just trying to remember how it's called. Quantity. There you go. We just call quantity. Get quantity. There you go. Pass the quantity in there. Nice. Is adding. Right now we don't need that because we're not doing anything yet, but we're gonna do that in the future. Right. So let's see if this whole logic works. I'm gonna go here, press E, and there you go. We're adding the items to our wood resource there. There's a couple of things in that we still have to do, like getting the right color, put some outlines and stuff. One more thing here as well, guys, you can actually do is just hooked up this node, so we delete the item. Yeah, so come here, add the item, there you go. So you add the item to the inventory. Still not adding the item to our inventory yet. We still have to create that here. The reason why we're not adding that yet is because we still have to fix a couple of UI issues and things like that. I think let's make sure that we got the right color before we finalize the video, so it gets the right rarity color. Right. So to do that here, I'm gonna open up here, browse to the inventory. I'm gonna go to the item log here, and there we go. So I'm gonna open the graph, and in here is where actually we're gonna set up the item name and things like that. So I'm just gonna put this here for the side so we have some space to work. Right. Remember, we have access to the item reference. And the item reference, if you break that, we have access to the quality. So I'm just gonna break this as well. Break. Yeah. Remember, this will return us the table name and the row name and things like this. So we kind of have to do a little shorthand to get that. We kind of have to do this. The same thing we did here on the inventory. What is it? We just need to get the table name. Yeah. So in the log display, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put the row name. I'm gonna change this to say DT item quality list table. We're gonna hook this up here, right? So we have this here. And what we're gonna be doing here, you're gonna break this row, and now we have the color, right? So what you can actually do that, which is quite cool, you can select this, you get the item name, yeah, let's get the item name here. Remember, the item name is this guy here, yeah. Let me also add a outline, just so we make sure that it's always nice to have outline. This is just a design, guys, yeah. You don't really need to do that if you don't want to. It's just I'm gonna add outline so I have some outline there. Right, then what you're gonna do here is you're gonna call a method called set color and opacity. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pass the color in that. Oh, the color does not match, right? So let me check. So this is a color structure, slate color. So in that case, we're gonna call a method called make color, and then we can add the color there. Yeah, I know this start to get a little bit messy, so we may need to go back and do some refactoring here for now. But just to finalize the video here, let's make this on the next one. So right now we just see the magic happening. Let's see the color now. So if everything went right, we should have a green color there, which it doesn't. Guys, so I just found the issue why the color was still coming as a black color. So the reason why is because I changed a couple of things. So the first one here, let me close everything, yeah. So go ahead, where is the main, where is saying variables, item quality, open up this st quality item, right? And in here, before it was color, right? Right now I changed to slate color, right? So that match with the type. Go ahead, save that. What you're gonna do here is before you press save all, you just click exit and don't save anything. Just don't save anything, and then go back and reopen your project there. The reason why we're doing that, we have to do this, is because Unreal Engine sometimes has issues when you update those ST items, and then if you save all, it will start to throw some errors on your project as you go through. So for example, if you have an inventory item and then you press save, and then you used to have a mesh or something, as you press exit, you're probably gonna lose those references, start to throw errors in the future. So it's always nice to just go exit and then you open up just start clean, right? Every time you change a structure that has a table attached to it, right? So it's going back to the way it was. Let me just open up my level back here, which is level RPG map, right? So here now, what we're gonna do in the UI, open up the item log, right? That probably is gonna throw error for you, so just make sure that you hooked up the color straight in there, because right now our color is a slate color, and also the type here is called slate color. Compile and save, nice. And the last thing you need to do is you go back here to where is the variables, item quality, open up this list. And what you're gonna do here is, what is the colors, or say for example poor, make sure the opacity is 1, common, make sure the opacity is 1, uncommon, make sure the opacity is 1, opacity 1, opacity 1, opacity 1, make sure the opacity is always 1, right? So the common, I think is, I don't remember the color right now, just leave this color for now. And now if you press play, you should be able to have that right color there. Yeah, so just to show you a quick example, if you change this to if you change this to a very crazy color for now, so you can see that working, you should have a nice color there. So that's it for now, guys. This video may get a little bit longer, so just go ahead and rewatch a couple of those steps. But it's really nice because right now we're starting to combine the player actions with the inventory and displaying the UI and show things and quantity things. And as you can see here, if I change this quantity to, I can come in back there and now in the SA2. Yeah, so this is really cool. So there's a lot of stuff to do. We still have to do drag and drop, player equipment and stuff, mesh swap and things like this. But as long as we break down everything in small parts, we be all right. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions or if you got lost at any point, just go back, rewatch. And yeah, in the next one, we're going to be starting to play with more UI stuff. So see you guys in the next one.